across to Nikhil now joining us on the broadcast. Nikhil, your take after weeks of uncertainty, it is now confirmed. Bangladesh is out.
That's right, Suesha. I mean, there was a bit of to and fro between the Bangladesh Cricket Board as well as the ICC. But now, yes, the official confirmation is out that Bangladesh has been replaced by Scotland. We are waiting for the official press release from the ICC. But what the reason we are confirming this particular news is that we've picked up that Cricket Scotland has already been informed that the invitation letter to Cricket Scotland has already been dispatched. They've received that letter whereby the ICC has asked them that please come and join the group and replace Bangladesh at the T20 World Cup, which is effectively telling you that Bangladesh, which we had known in the last 2-3 days as we were covering this story, but now that Scotland has officially received that particular invitation, you can say that yes, Bangladesh officially out. Scotland are yet to respond to that letter, but as you can well imagine, because it's a privilege for any team to be playing the T20 World Cup. They were there last time around as well. Scotland did decently well, were unlucky to miss out in the Super 8 berth. In fact, lost out by just 1 point to England. So they'd be chuffed that they've gotten that invite. That letter has actually gone from the CEO of the ICC to Cricket Scotland. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Cricket Board was hoping for a miracle. That's the last word that we heard from the Bangladesh Cricket Board. That once they decided they're not going to change their stance, they also said that they were hoping for a miracle that ICC might last moment be considerate enough to have them in the World Cup. That's clearly something that hasn't happened. So where we are at the moment, Suesha, this is for the very first time that a team has been removed from the World Cup for the entire duration of that tournament.
A first indeed, Nikhil, but what really happens next? Before we actually dive into that, Nikhil, how do you view Bangladesh's stance as far as these particular developments are concerned and the fact that politics has taken precedence over the game?
A couple of things, Suesha, on that. Firstly, talking about Bangladesh's stance, I think it's come more from their government rather than come from the Bangladesh Cricket Board. That is now pretty evident because we've heard from the Bangladesh Cricket Board also talk about it, saying that, they went back to their government. And you can make out the reason why they may have taken that stand, the Bangladesh government, because they're pandering to the people in Bangladesh. The general sentiment on the street is that, listen, in a scenario like this where a player like Mustafizur Rahman, who's one of their star players, has been removed from the IPL, the fans per se were adamant that they also don't want their team to be traveling. So I think what the government has done is pandered to the public at large. That's where the decision comes from. But I don't think they've thought it through. Looking forward, this might create a lot of trouble for Bangladesh Cricket Board. Firstly, they're going to have a financial loss. It's being estimated close to $20 million is what they're going to miss out because of not participating in an ICC tournament. That's one. Secondly, they've burnt their bridges with India. Remember, almost 80% of their revenue comes while playing a bilateral series with India. India were due to play them, in a bilateral series. That I'm sure after these development, BCCI may not be keen to play that bilateral series. That's the second loss that they've had. And we're also hearing murmurs that, for a team to have pulled out at the last moment, to being reluctant not to play, despite the assurances from the ICC that India is safe, the fact that they've done it could invite sanctions for the Bangladesh Cricket Board going forward. That could also mean, we do not have the details of that, but I do know that the ICC is contemplating maybe a long-term sort of sanction also on the Bangladesh Cricket Board because of their refusal to take part. And that could even mean maybe not being allowed to participate in a few World Cups going forward.
Right, Nikhil, I request you to stay on with us. Mr. Atul Vasan is also with us on the phone line. Let me quickly get his response on this latest development. What do you think, Mr. Vasan? Bangladesh is out. All right, not too sure if Mr. Vasan is still connected with us. Nikhil, if I could come back to you, especially since you mentioned sanctions. What is the impact that this can have on Bangladesh cricket moving forward?
Impact, as I just explained, Suresha, see, 80% of Bangladesh's revenue comes from either ICC tournaments or from a bilateral series versus India. So now that they're not playing this year's ICC tournament, that is, of course, the World Cup, that's going to be a major loss for them. That's one. Secondly, as I mentioned, the second part of that money that they get is always coming from a bilateral series if they were playing against India. That now, after what they have done, I doubt India would be keen to play a bilateral series with them. So these are the two areas which are not going to happen. That means an 80% revenue loss for Bangladesh Cricket Board. Can they survive this 80% loss? No. I think any entity, any commercial entity, if you were to take away or wipe away about 80% of their revenue, that's going to be a major loss for them. And I think that's going to be there with the Bangladesh Cricket Board as well. Would the government chip in? Maybe they'll have to go to the government. But as you know, that politically as well, Bangladesh not in a great situation at the moment with the political turmoil there. They're of course waiting for those elections to happen. But will the government bail them out financially? That also seems highly unlikely at this moment. So the future is looking bleak. I think it would have been prudent from the perspective of Bangladesh Cricket Board to have eventually given in to ICC demands rather than digging their heels in. But now I think, there's a lot of water that's gone under the bridge, and I don't think this is something that can now be reversed. So long-term losses for Bangladesh Cricket Board, and some, the one entity that you really got to feel for are Bangladeshi players, because very interestingly, the details coming out of Bangladesh is that the players weren't very keen with the decision. In fact, a lot of players, when the Bangladesh government asked for a meeting to take the views of the players, a lot of players decided, not to be part of that meeting. And I think their absence there kind of also telling you their stance that they weren't keen to be in a situation where they take a decision where they can't be participating in the World Cup. Let's not forget, to qualify for the World Cup is also a big deal. They did the hard yard, qualify for the World Cup. Every player dreams of doing that. So one, of course, not being able to play the World Cup, and two, they also understand that the long-term repercussions could be financial dents to the Bangladesh Cricket Board, which is going to directly affect them. So the one party that you got to feel for are the Bangladeshi cricketers.
Very interesting, Nikhil. And given how Bangladesh also tried to arm twist the ICC, given this decision that has now seen the light of the day, what is the message that goes out to all of India's adversaries?
I think this goes out to every cricketing nation, Suyesh, I'll say that, because you could say that Bangladesh cricket had held ICC hostage for a long time, threatening that they'll pull out of the tournament, and they thought that maybe basis on this pressure, they are going to get bogged down. But what eventually happened, and I must also tell you, there is this narrative that is doing the round that it's India that has decided to remove Bangladesh from that situation, which is quite contrary to what the reality is. Remember, it's the International Cricket Council, the ICC, that has taken that step. And that happened in a very democratic setup where you had a situation that all board members got together, 14-2. That is the vote that they came up with. So it's not just India, every other major cricketing playing nation, be it England, New Zealand, Australia, all of them voted for not having Bangladesh. So I think it's a message to every country that, you can't be keeping an international board hostage in a scenario like this.
And Nikhil, before I let you go, the most pertinent question that is being asked, should politics really, take precedence over the game? Cricket is known to unite people. But given what we've seen happen in the Champions Trophy, then the Asia Cup, and now the T20 World Cup, what do you think is the precedent moving forward?
Suresha, if you ask me in a very idealistic way, if I had to tell you, should politics be mixed with cricket? The simple answer would be no. But then that's also being far away and removed from reality, because as things stand at the moment, politics are there everywhere. Why just, even look at something like cricket? I mean, if I was to look at other sports as well, at this moment, you do see, I mean, I'm going to quote you example of Wimbledon. You have a scenario where you've had certain players from Russia that had to be barred from playing Wimbledon. You have certain players from the erstwhile USSR that play there without really carrying their national flag. So, I mean, it in an idealistic world, in a utopian world, you say that, should politics be part of sport? No. But then that's also the reality that, it does sweep in, because eventually it is also part of a regular everyday social life, and so is politics. So it's very tough to keep them aside.